everyone. I love the organization, what you guys are able to do here. It's been great being a member. I'm not going to bore you with financing terms, but I just wanted to educate some of you about some of the changes that have gone on in the past couple of years for financing opportunities. A lot of you, I just realized where the location was. I grew up 2 blocks from this location, so it's kind of surreal to be back. I grew up on a street called St. Andrew's Place, so some of you might know where that is.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's my stopping ground. So let me give you a little background about Forbix. We are a local lender located in Sherman Oaks, California. We are, I would say, the hybrid version of a lender because we're not just, rate quoters. We actually roll up our sleeves and we put skin in the game as well. We are co-developers. In terms of investing in projects, we put money in projects. We currently have about 500 units we own. We have another 1,100 under development. We're a little bit of a out-of-the-box thinker in terms of how we approach projects. We've got a project in San Francisco that we're working with a group of pastors. Some of you might know a group of pastors have a whole lot of different agendas, but we were able to get 7 of them on the same page. And later on this year, we're going to break ground on probably one of the largest African American owned developments west of the Mississippi. It's going to be 220 units in Hunters Point in the San Francisco Bay. So it's been about 5-6 years in the making for us, and so we'll be proud to get that one ground broke. So some of the other stuff we do bridge debt. If you're in the process of reorganizing your building, restabilizing it, doing some value adds, we provide bridge debt temporary for that. We also do construction lending. Some of you may or may not be familiar with HUD. HUD has a program to do construction financing. We do a 40-year construction product that goes from 18 months and it rolls into a 40-year fixed loan. So that's something unique that typically you have to do, the 1-2 step in order to get to permanent financing. So in this case, you don't. It's all inclusive. And a lot of people think that because maybe they're retired, there's not access to capital. But I'm here to let you know that there are programs for apartment owners that are non-recourse. So we don't have to look at your tax returns. We can look at the income rent roll of the building and a prepared profit and loss statement, and we can get you financing. I've learned through just having individual conversations that might be the impression out there that there could not be access to capital. And some of you have significant amounts of equity trapped in your properties. And I just did a loan for a client that had that issue regarding the retrofitting. And she got a bunch of quotes because she has a couple of properties in the Village Green area and Baldwin Hills area, and she's got to spend quite a bit of money, about $50,000-$60,000, and she just didn't have that kind of cash sitting on hand. So we helped her access some of that capital so she can make those improvements, because those things are mandatory, as you know. We can do a more breakout session at some point to really get into the nuts and bolts of what type of programs there are and what it takes. But just to let you know, we can be really creative. It takes that in this newly Dodd-Frank regulated environment we live in. So I'll give you one more example. In getting qualified, sometimes you need to show reserves. So because we're also a private lender, I was able to secure another second on her property. This particular client dumped the money into her account, sat it for a couple of months, creating the reserves we needed to get the type of financing that we wanted at the rate that we wanted. So just getting a little creative and figuring out ways that we can fit in the box when we may not necessarily start off in the box. So you had a question?
Yeah, just wondering, have you put together any opportunity zone funds yet?
I'm glad you asked that. We actually are very forward-looking as a company. Like I said, again, we co-invest with developers. So the San Francisco project is located, unbeknownst to us before we made that investment, is located in an opportunity zone. So we actually are putting a conference on in Washington, D.C. next month. It's going to be all about accessing money through the opportunity zones and creating syndication funds to invest in the opportunity zones. So the actual title is going to be essentially the wealth. It's actually called the Opportunity Zone Capitalism Fund, and it's going to be on February the 12th. So I can get more information to members if they be in the DC area. That's where it's going to be. But ultimately, several of the projects that we're financing, as well as a company, because we do finance, are located in these opportunity zones, and these are areas that we're going to see the need to grow that segment. So we're actually actively working on creating a fund for opportunity zones, because it's with developers it becomes an issue to access capital for that, and it's going to be a great opportunity for lack of a better term, but it is going to be a great opportunity to invest in some of these areas that are in some of the urban communities. So it's a good time to be looking forward. Although we have some challenges, there are a lot of opportunities, I think, that will be there. One more thing I'll add, because I didn't mention this, we are a HUD lender direct. So that's a product that I mentioned on the construction side is a 40-year fixed construction product, but we also have a 35-year fixed refinance product. So that's a sister product to the same 40-year product. So in that, it's non-recourse. Typically in your normal refinance scenarios or financing scenarios, you have to have 10% of the net worth liquidity requirement. So if you have $1 million loan, they want $100,000 sitting in your account. Under the HUD program, there's a zero liquidity requirement and a zero net worth requirement. So that's one extra added layer that you don't have to have with this program. There's some pros and cons, but for the most part, it's designed for people who are doing long-term holds. And I think most of you in this room are long-term hold people. So it's a great product to pull out. I think we just did a deal. The rates are going up, as you know. We just did one at 5.25%, and it's fixed for 30 years. So that's something where in your typical loans you have 5, 7, 10s. And some 30 years, but it's another option to have that extra 5-year amortization, which can get you a little extra cash out on the property that you pull the cash out of. So I'm a member. I'm here. It's just a conversation. I wanted to bring forth some more options for you that you might or might not know about, and I think we can break out at some point, Malcolm, with like a lender's forum or a lender's table to kind of talk a little bit more about individual scenarios. But I just wanted to give you guys some broad strokes about what's coming. But there are some unique programs that can help you access the capital. Does anybody else have any questions that might come to mind?
What's your number?
I could give you a card.
Okay.
My phone number I can give you. It's 310.
Oh, you got cards?
And I do have some cards. So.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a local, so I know pretty much every neighborhood. I grew up in Inglewood. I grew up a few blocks from here, and then we
St.
moved
Andrews.
into Inglewood. So I know every neighborhood within within the about a 30-mile radius. And I'm in the valley, but I make trips pretty much wherever you want, wherever you are. It's 310-710-2353.
And what's your name again?
My name's Ryan Butler, and our company is called Forbix. And I'll have some handouts for you as well.
And thanks much, but I suggest all you take a look at the company's website. Like I said, Brian's a member, and I think this is just good information. A lot of people don't know about opportunity zones. When the opportunity zones first came out, the first round, our area didn't get included in the opportunity zones.
Yes.
And President Barack Obama and some other people tried to help. We tried to understand why we didn't have an opportunity zone in the hood here.
Yep.
Where there's so much potential for growth and development, so that people like our members that may not be multimillionaires, but for some of the assets they have, they could access and do some of these programs and projects in our city. If you look at most of the projects that are being going up in our neighborhood, in our opportunity zone, people that are doing them don't look like us.
Right.
And so I wanted to make sure there's information for those of you who may want to take advantage of it. Ryan's always here, he's a good member and good friend of mine, and I thought this information would be good knowledge and information to pass on. So once again, Ryan, thank you so much for being here as always.